Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this finds you this fine day. If you are a parent and you are confused about the amount of screen time your child should be doing, you need to stay tuned. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't subscribed already, it would be lovely if you could, then you will get notified when I release different videos, especially on this topic. My name is Kai Graham. I am a parenting specialist and I am author of the Teen Toolbox. It's my mission to support parents so that they can help their children. Together, I want to build a mentally healthier and happier generation of young people. So you've come to the right place. Let's get on with this. Question is, and what many parents ask me is, how much time should I be letting my kids stay online, use their devices, watch TV, YouTube, whatever? Because it's quite worrying. There are so many pros and cons with social media and with the digital world that many parents are left at first base. The goalposts keep on changing and we have no idea what to do for the best for our kids. Can I just put your mind at ease a little bit? If you remember, if you're like me in the olden days, I grew up with black and white television. And 40 years ago, parents were asking the same thing about that demon sort of screen in the corner of the TV. And that's nearly been left behind now. Technology is advancing so quickly that, you know, it's the new elephant in the room. And I just want you to just really, as a parent, maybe, well done for watching this, because maybe we need to start parenting from a point of embracing technology rather than from a point of fear. That's just my take on it. There are so many good things about I talk about social media. There's so many good things about technology and about the digital world. Yes, we will discuss those. There are also so many scary things, and it's our role to protect our children and to create a safe environment for them. I think the main thing to do is start early and allow your child to make conscious decisions, to make conscious choices, and they can only do that when they have as many of the facts in front of them. And great that you're here, because I shall arm you with some of those that you can share with your child if indeed you choose to do so. Just a couple of sort of statistics, because that always sort of gets us, you know, sort of gets the old brain matter sort of working. I totally get that parents are concerned about the internet. I think 70% of young kids have experienced cyberbullying, and 30% of those on a very regular basis. But let's put this into perspective. Technology is here to stay. 6 billion people on this planet have access to a smartphone or some sort of technology. 4.5 billion have access to a working toilet. That's scary. So I suggest we start embracing the digital world. It's your obligation as a parent to become as well versed as you can. Many people I know sort of say to me, "Oh no, well I don't quite understand technology. Oh, then my child's left me behind. I just don't do it." And I just would like to say, shame on you, because it is your responsibility. It is your responsibility to know the world that your child is going into. You know, there are many parents that go, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if I should let my child go on a sleepover with their new friend because I don't know the parents." Granted, that's a great idea, You know, you want to have that safe environment for your child. So ergo, it is worth having a knowledge of what is going on in the digital world, so you are well versed for supporting your child. So how much time, how much screen time? Come on, Kai, cut to the chase. How much screen time should I be allowing my child? Well, there are so many stats, there are so many figures saying that children spend 5 or 6 hours online. Some kids are, oh my gosh, as many as 10 hours online. For goodness sake, I don't even know how they've got enough hours in the day. Let's just break the day up. Let's just have a 24-hour day, okay? Your child, if they are a teenager, needs 9.5 hours sleep. I'm doing another, in this series throughout this month, I'm talking all about technology, and I think it's episode 3 is all about mental health and sort of the digital world, so keep an eye out for that. But if your child is not getting 9.5 hours sleep at least, then they are running on empty, and the wheels do eventually come off. So let's say kindly 9.5 hours for sleep. Let's allow 1.5 hours for meals and snacks and coffee breaks. And, you know, in the olden days, we all used to sit down for a 1-hour meal in the evening. It doesn't happen anymore, but let's just allow 1.5 hours for meal times, snack breaks, coffee breaks, whatever. School time, 8 hours, give or take. Let's throw the travel into that. So your child is at school. I know they do have access to their phones. I know they also, many of them use screen time at school. I appreciate that. But let's talk about the social downtime for how many hours should I be allowing my child. So 8 hours for school. Homework and other stuff, work-related stuff, even, you know, I put 3 hours for that. I know. For some, it's you're lucky if you get 20-30 minutes out of them. But maybe sort of, if we including in homework, we include chores, we include other stuff that they need to do, but just non-screen related time. That actually gives your child 2 hours to work with, 2 hours downtime. And I know if you discuss that with me, oh my God, you're so mean to me. All my friends are doing X, Y, and Z, and I get that. But the question is if you are allowing for 9.5 hours sleep, mealtime 1.5 hours, school hours are 8 hours, homework and other related chores and, you know, whatever you want to include in that 3 hours, then technically they've got a downtime of 2 hours. Do you know what? My view is that if you're going to follow that, 2 hours is absolutely fine. I really cannot see a problem with that. I would like to say I am not medically trained, but I am a mum, I am a parenting specialist, and I am also a realist. So I think the thing is it's important to understand where your child's coming from, and so therefore it's important to discuss this with them. So when you sit down with them to have a chat, when they're younger, it's okay, I get it, you know, you can enforce rules, my house, my rules, but when they're teenagers, they have, with any luck, they've got a sensible head on their shoulders and they know what's fair. Teenagers are all about what's fair. And so I think in order to work this to your best advantage and to their best advantage, they need to be pulled into the conversation here. So talk to your child. Find out what they use their smartphone for. Find out what they are posting on and commenting about and what their photos are like. Do this without judgment, please. And because when a child lets you into their world and is greeted with, oh my God, you can't do that. Oh my God, this is absolutely appalling. Oh, this is awful. Then they shut down. They won't be sharing with you the information that you are so desperate to find out. So understand that this is their world. This is the way they communicate. When I was young, I used to sit there with that phone in the hall, you know, the phone that used to sit on the hall table with that really, really long lead. And I used to sit on the hall stairs and chat to my mates for about 2.5, 3 hours. And all you could hear was my mum or my dad going, "Will you get her off that bloody phone?" And so that's what it was like then. It's just the same but different nowadays for our kids. And we need to catch up, and we need to buy into it, and we need to embrace it. So talk to them. Find out what sites they're using. Find out who they're talking to without judgment, because then they open that world up to you. Even if it's, I don't know, with your young kids and they're doing Fortnite, find out. Or as it was, Minecraft, whatever they're using, find out and learn about it. Not how to use it, but just to see, get a glimpse into their world. Find out what's going on. Find out what feedback means to them. So many young people are concerned that they're not getting enough likes, they're not getting enough whatevers, they're you know, not enough followers, people aren't commenting enough on, and find out why it's so important to them. Which then leads on to talk to them about self-esteem. Talk to them about how they feel. What social media makes them feel like. Does it make them feel happy? Does it make them feel confident? Does it make them feel upset, not good enough, too fat? Find out. Talk to them and listen. And if nothing else, just listen for the next couple of weeks to see how it shapes their world, how it affects their world, and how you can guide them so it does that for the better. Because I know, I mean, we need to understand that this is their lifeline to the world. It is their way of connecting with their friends. It is their form of socializing. So many kids make plans and sort of set up meetups and have group chats. And I mean, you know, half the time they're sort of chatting to their mates and they're sort of 3 seats down. But that's the way it is now. It might be alien to us. You know, I mean, it's the way it is. Their grandparents might not understand laptops and computers. I'm assuming most of you are fairly au fait with that if you're a parent. But things move and we need to keep up. So understand what it is your child is getting from this on a positive and a negative basis. But there are so many benefits, so many good things that it reaches out to people. I mean, even you know, sort of one transgender child said to me, "Do you know what? Social media saved my life." Well, bravo for that. It's not all scary. Granted, lack of sleep, obesity and health issues, cyberbullying, sexualization, all these sort of things are scary as hell if we don't know what's out there and if we don't know how to deal with it. And this is why it's important to chat to your child. It's important to chat to your child about cyberbullying. I have a video on that. I've got a video on how to talk to your child about pornography, and I'll put the links in the description. The only thing, do you know what? The most important thing that you get from any of this is to try and understand how it impacts your child, how social media, how the digital world, how too much screen time impacts your child's well-being. And so have a chat to them and talk to them about those hours that we've said, the enough sleep, the meal times, the hours at school, the hours they spend doing homework and chores and all the other stuff, and see if this is realistic. And I can guarantee you that the big one that they will have reduced in order to fit in their screen time is sleep. Guaranteed, because that's one of the ones that they can control. And that is the biggest one of all. That's the scary one, and I'll discuss that later in sort of mental health. But if you gain nothing else from this, I would suggest that you have a central charging dock, maybe downstairs, for all the phones, not just your child, because you need to lead by example. Children learn by observation, and you are their best role model. So maybe from now on, take all phones out the bedroom. Why? Because it creates interrupted sleep. Because kids listen to the buzz. Because kids listen for the ping. Because they hate to have that feeling of missing out. And so they are on their phone at all hours of the night. Because there's that pull. There's that addictive pull, which is built into social media, which is built into games. Those people that are designing apps, the designers and the coders are plugging into our addictions. They are cashing in on your child's vulnerabilities. They know how the mind works. They know how to create that tech addiction. And so there's the big thing is to try and pull your child away from that permanent need for being wired, because it keeps them wired. So I would suggest no phones at bedtime. Good luck with that, but we will discuss that later. It's a matter of making your child, or allowing your child to make conscious decisions. And what I would suggest, actually, if you can do it, which is so powerful, is to create a screen time contract. And I'll put some guidelines in the descriptions. But it's really a way of you and your child sitting down and discussing all things about smartphones and digital and, you know, technology, and how you as a parent can guide them and how they can sign up to that, to buy into that. And that it's, you know, by doing a contract, even if you need to print it out, sign it and write it on the fridge, by creating that contract, it shows that you have collectively had these discussions. I'm not going to say it's a document that isn't going to change. It will be fluid. But if you sort of even just, so the wording could be, I've got something here. I agree, I state your name, agree to the guidelines that have been written below. I understand that the phone is paid for, which invariably it is, paid for by my parents, and it was given to me because I have earned their trust. If at any time I violate their trust or don't follow the guidelines, then I can immediately lose these privileges of having a phone. And if I choose to be disrespectful or violate these rules, or yes, if I choose to be disrespectful and violate the guidelines, then that privilege can be revoked for longer. I would suggest you talk about the timings. When is the right time to use the phone? I would suggest not at meal times. I would suggest not at bedtime. I would suggest, you know, and it's totally up to you. Yes, it could be long car journeys. Yes, it could be the school bus, whatever. But allowing for natural breaks. No-go zones. I would say the meal table. So many people, so many kids. I mean, when we have meal times together, be it at home or in a restaurant, I don't care. I pass around the bread basket, and everyone's phone goes in there. Everyone's. And I found it hard to begin with, I must admit. And so now the bread basket sits in the middle of the table, all on silent, no vibrate, none of this bzz, 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 bzz. And we have just sort of screen-free meals. And I remember when I was on a skiing holiday, an Austrian mum came up to me and she just went, "Thank you." And I thought, oh God, were we too noisy? What were we doing? And she said, "We're doing that tomorrow." Because in retrospect, I peered over my shoulder and her and her family were doing all this. And they, you know, but she suddenly realised as my kids did, you know, actually how much fun it can be when you're not permanently being interrupted. So maybe your no-go zones are meal times. Maybe it's not in the bedroom. Maybe it's not, I don't know, in a certain part of the house, and it's just only in other areas. You will know what works best for you. Maybe if your kids are a little bit younger, only have agreed apps that you let them download. Agree that if the screens are broken, then your child pays for them, even if their mate did it. Yeah? So any breakages are sort of paid for by them. Communication from parents, texts must not be ignored. You decide what works for you. But when you have a contract there, it's so liberating, because you have discussed it with your child, because they have had to buy into it, because you have listened to what they've had to say, because they bought into it, and actually with education they will understand that this is to create a safe environment for them, not because you were the worst parent in the world and because you want them to have an awful time. But work out, you know, even things you might need to sort of talk about etiquette. We're going to talk about internet safety in another episode, but just all those things that you need to discuss, they might be worth putting down in a contract so you and your child have a point of reference to go back to. So, and there will be arguments, there will be, no, well, you said this and you said that, but it provides that balance. It provides that, of course they should have time to communicate with friends, time to chill, time to sit on mindless apps, time to watch cat videos, time to do whatever. Of course they should. But with a balance of everything else that is not detrimental to their health, that is not detrimental to their mental health, that is not detrimental to their overall well-being. And when they know that you've got their back, it is so much easier. And that's why it is so important to bring them along in the conversation. I think, I do remember, you know, so one child said, oh, why don't you trust me? Well, do you know what? It's not about trust. Just take that ego out. It is me as a parent standing up to my responsibility to make sure you are as safe as you can be. It is Mama Bear's obligation, and Papa Bear's obligation to keep their child safe. And that's why you need to be well versed. You don't have to know absolutely everything, but don't be oblivious to what's going on online, because then you're on a sticky wicket. You're not able to speak from a point of knowledge. If you're speaking from fear, it's, oh, well, I just don't understand it, so you can't do any of it. Well, that's not going to last. And you will get things like, well, all my friends are allowed to do this, or all my friends have that, or all my friends. And you go, oh, well, oh, okay, right. And then there was a response I had that was fabulous was, do you know what? I've got friends that don't do sugar. Should we adopt that? I've got friends that don't celebrate Christmas. Let's see how that works out. You know, I've got friends who do X, Y, and Z. We don't all have to follow the crowd. We need to do what is safe for us. We need to do what is safe for our family. And I think it's really all about balance. It's all about what is best for your mental health, your physical health, and your emotional health. So a little bit of everything does no harm at all. So if you liked that, there are many more videos. Don't forget to subscribe. It just helps you, and the notification bell as well. You'll just get notified when the next video is premiering, and it just makes life a lot easier for you. As always, if you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I will answer them as soon as I possibly can. But take this easy, take this from a point of encouragement, because once we are well versed in the areas of technology, it's not actually as scary as we sometimes believe. Much love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.